Hey, I'm Chase and this is All Things Random. Today, we're doing our first high-end review. Today, we're looking at a Rolex Explorer 2 polar dial. It's no surprise anybody who's watched my channel for a period of time know that I love watches. I love high-end watches and even budget micro brands. Now, this is going to be the first high-end watch on my channel that I've reviewed. It will not be the last because I personally have a Submariner that I will review in the future once I get my Parnas Submariner to compare the two. Now, before I hop into the hands-on, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment down below. Also, hit that notification bell. Let's flip the camera around and get hands-on. The Rolex Explorer 2. Now, the first Explorer was introduced in 1971. An extension of the original Explorer model, the Explorer 2 brought with it a fixed 24-hour bezel and a dedicated hand on the dial. While the first Explorer was developed for mountaineering, the Explorer 2 focused more on keeping perfect time while working in dark environments such as caves and polar regions. In the 1980s, the reference 16570 was released and included its striking white dial topped with luminous plots in black surroundings. This unique feature itself, coupled with the model's origins, earned the 16570 the nickname the Polar Dial, which I can tell you is why a lot of people search after this watch. Now, housed inside is the automatic caliber 3185 with that dedicated 24-hour hand, a sapphire crystal with a 2.5 times Cyclops, 40mm case diameter with an Oyster bracelet. Now, one of the things a lot of people love about these older model watches or the 5-digit watches are the case shape. It is smaller than the newer Super case, and it is a lot more sleek, and it is a lot easier to wear. It slips into the cuff a lot easier. It's thinner, and it, overall feels a little bit better. Now, you can tell that this case has had a lot of love with all those scratches. This thing has been worn every single day for a long time. Now, the bracelet itself is the Oyster bracelet, starting at 20mm at the lug, and it tapers down to 16mm, or with the calipers just over 15.5. Now, this is one of the things I do not like about the older Rolexes, and that is the pressed clasp here. Anyone who likes watches will tell you that Rolex did fix these in the 6-digit reference models, the newer Rolex Submariners and Explorers, with this, the glide lock clasp, which is a more machined and milled metal. It's not pressed out, and it does have the ability to use the glide lock clasp to micro adjust on the fly, as opposed to having to use push pins inside the press clasp as in the older models. Now, the bracelet itself is extremely comfortable, and the overall watch is very comfortable to wear. It's very easy to forget that it's on your wrist. One of the things Rolex does best is make a great wearing watch. Now, here's a quick Lume shot of the Polar Explorer 2 next to a newer Submariner. Now, the Submariner next to it has the blue nice ice, but I really like the older style green lume that comes on the older Rolexes. And this thing has not been redone or touched up. Over 2 decades worth of wear, and this thing shines just as bright as the day it was purchased. Really great quality here. I always tell people that you get what you pay for. And speaking about paying for it, now let's talk about the price of this watch. Now, this watch a few years ago was hovering around $4,500 in the used market. Now, right now, you'd be hard pressed to find it for under $7,000, and most are around $7,500. So this thing has been creeping up over the years. So if you can find one, I would snatch it up. And the white dial itself, I think, is most of the draw. Not the fact that you can pick it up for a good price that also has the 24-hour feature. However, it is the polar dial. The white dial is just so unique to Rolex, when most of the references have the classic black dials, or at most maybe the green dial on the Hulk. And back to you get what you pay for. Now, one of the reasons why I tell people good watches are expensive is this watch was bought new by my father-in-law as a retirement gift. Then passed down to my brother-in-law, who I'm sure will pass it down as well. Now you can tell that this watch has been worn, and that's actually a great sign. A good watch should be worn. It should be beat up, it should be used. And this thing has definitely stood the stands of time. Now, a great watch not only has monetary value, but sentimental value as well. Quality that literally lasts generations. Now, these things are just getting harder and harder to come by. And if you want a good value watch and a classic Rolex design, but with a unique twist, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better deal than one of the Explorer 2s. And if you'd want, I'd pick up the Polar Dial. Now it's easy to see why people love the Polar Dial Rolex Explorer 2. It's easy to see why it's increasing in price over time. Like I said before, I would recommend if you want one to hurry up and pick one up because they're only getting harder to find. Also, they're becoming more collectible, so pick one up while the prices are where they're at. I don't see them going down anytime soon. Again, if you like videos and videos like this, hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment of the content you guys would like to see next. Until next time.